Society has sold you a lie. It is a lie so pervasive, so deeply embedded in your cultural operating system that you don't even notice it running in the background of your mind. From the moment you were born, you were conditioned to believe a single dangerous falsehood, that to be good meant to be selfless. You were taught that your value as a human being is directly correlated to how much you sacrifice, how much you bleed for others, how much pain you can endure, and how little space you take up.
They lied to you. If you look around at the most miserable people in your life, the ones who are perpetually exhausted, financially fragile, and emotionally volatile, they are usually the ones trying to please everyone. They are the people who say yes when every fiber of their being wants to scream no. They are the people who are trying to be the savior, the martyr, and the helper, all while their own internal world is collapsing. They are trying to give away water from a cup that has been dry for years. Here's the counterintuitive truth that society is terrified to tell you. If you want to save the world, if you want to be a force for good, if you want to be a high-value contributor to the human species, you first have to make sure you are not one of the people who need saving. The most altruistic, generous, and benevolent thing you can do for the planet is to be ruthlessly, unapologetically, and holistically selfish. You have heard the rule on an airplane 1,000 times. Secure your own oxygen mask before assisting others. You nod your head when you hear it. It makes logical sense at 30,000 feet. You understand that if you pass out from a lack of oxygen, you are no longer a helper. You are a corpse that is taking up space. You become a liability. But the moment you land, the moment you step back into the chaos of modern life, you forget it. You go back to living a life where you are gasping for air, financially, physically, and spiritually, while frantically trying to help everyone else breathe. This manifesto is an invitation to stop suffocating. It is an invitation to understand that selfishness, when executed correctly, is a virtue. We need to define our terms because words matter. When I say selfish, I am not talking about the petty selfishness of a child. I am not talking about cutting in line, stealing credit, or eating the last piece of cake. That is what I call short-term selfishness, and it is actually a form of stupidity. It is a negative-sum game. If I steal from you, I win, and you lose in the short term. But in the long term, I destroy my reputation, I lose your trust, and society excludes me. That is not the selfishness I'm talking about. I am talking about holistic selfishness. This is the discipline of prioritizing your own long-term capacity, your own sovereignty, and your own peace above the short-term demands of the world. It is the realization that you are a biological machine. You have limited energy. You have limited time. You have limited mental bandwidth. If you do not prioritize the maintenance, optimization, and upgrading of your own machine, you become a burden to the tribe. Think about it deeply. A sick person cannot heal the sick. A poor person cannot help the poor. A miserable person cannot spread happiness. An ignorant person cannot teach the ignorant. When you are holistically selfish, you are prioritizing your long-term capacity to be useful over your short-term desire to be liked. You are choosing to be strong later rather than weak now. You are playing the long game. Most people are operating from a massive deficit. They are looking for someone to save them. They are looking for a boss to give them money, a partner to give them happiness, a government to give them safety, or a doctor to give them health. They are outsourcing their survival. When you are selfish enough to become self-sovereign, when you fix your own money, your own body, and your own mind, you remove one victim from the world. That is the first and most important step of charity. You stop being a liability and you start being an asset. Let's talk about money, because this is where the programming is the strongest. This is where people get the concept of selfishness completely wrong. You have been taught that the love of money is the root of all evil. You have been taught that wealth is a zero-sum game. This is the fixed pie fallacy. It is how animals think. In the wild, if there is a banana and I eat it, you starve. If I have the territory, you don't. It is I win, you lose. But in modern civilization, Wealth is positive sum. We create wealth. We write code. We build houses. We record podcasts. We invent vaccines. We solve problems. When I start a business that solves a problem for you, I have created value that didn't exist before. I have made your life better. And I have generated wealth for myself. We both win. You have a selfish duty to get rich. Why is it a duty? Because money is not just pieces of paper or numbers on a screen. Money is stored time. Money is freedom. Money is the tool that allows you to stop trading your limited lifespan for survival. If you are poor, your time belongs to someone else. You have to be at a specific place at a specific time, doing things you likely do not want to do, just to put food on the table. You are a wage slave. And a slave cannot be fully generous, because a slave has nothing to give but their obedience. When you are living paycheck to paycheck, your mental bandwidth is consumed by survival. You cannot think about the future of humanity when you are worried about making rent next Tuesday. When you become wealthy, and by wealthy, I mean having assets that earn while you sleep, you reclaim your time, you buy back your life. When you own your time, you can read what you want to read. You can sleep when you are tired. You can spend time with the people you love. You can fund the causes you believe in. You can build things because they are interesting, not because they pay the bills. This requires you to be selfish with your career. You cannot just do what your parents want you to do. You cannot just do what is safe. You have to find your specific knowledge. You have to find the thing that feels like play to you but looks like work to others. If you are doing something you hate, you will be competing against people who love it, and they will beat you every time. You need to use leverage. In the old days, leverage meant labor, having people work for you. That requires management and politics. Then it meant capital, using money to make money. That requires you to have money first. But today, we have the newest form of leverage, code and media. You can write software that works for you while you sleep. You can create a video like this one that speaks to thousands of people while you are eating dinner. This is the permissionless leverage of the modern age. You must selfishly pursue this leverage to detach your inputs from your outputs. Get rich, not so you can buy Ferraris and watches to impress people you don't like. That is a status game, and status games are traps. Get rich so you can be free. Get rich so you can be the master of your own destiny. Do this selfishly, do it obsessively, because once you have financial freedom, you become a beacon. You stop needing things from the world, and you start being able to contribute to it from a place of abundance. The second pillar of holistic selfishness is your time. The most dangerous word in your vocabulary is yes. Yes is the thief of the future. Every time you say yes to something minor, you are saying no to something major. Yes costs you time. Yes costs you focus. Yes fragments your life into 1,000 tiny obligations that benefit other people's agendas, not yours. To be holistically selfish, you must become a master of the no. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest men in history, said the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. They guard their time like a dragon guards its gold. You need to say no to coffee meetings that have no agenda. You need to say no to social events you don't enjoy. You need to say no to picking your brain. You need to say no to drama. You need to adopt the hell yes rule. If someone asks you to do something, a favor, a job, a date, a trip, and your immediate internal reaction isn't hell yes, then it should be a no. If you are kinda interested, it's a no. If you are doing it because you feel guilty, it's a no. If you are doing it just to be nice, it's a no. When you start saying no, people will get upset. They will call you selfish. Let them. They are calling you selfish because you are refusing to be a resource for their consumption. They are upset because they can no longer use your time to fill the voids in their own lives. But here is the magic that happens when you become selfish with your time. When you finally do say yes, you show up fully, you are present, you are enthusiastic. You are not checking your watch, secretly resenting the person across the table. You are not exhausted from 1,000 other obligations. Your yes becomes valuable because your no is frequent. By protecting your time, you increase the quality of the time you actually give. The third pillar is your biology. You live in a biological machine. Your brain is part of your body. Your mood is part of your body. Your thoughts are electrochemical reactions happening in a physical substrate. You cannot have a high performing mind in a decaying body. Holistic selfishness means treating your health like it is the only vehicle you will ever own because it is. If you were given one car to last you a lifetime, would you put cheap gas in it? Would you let it rust? Would you drive it into walls? No. You would maintain it obsessively. Yet, people treat their bodies like rental cars. They pour sugar, alcohol, and processed garbage into the tank. They deprive it of sleep. They let the engine atrophy from a lack of movement. And then they wonder why they are depressed, anxious, and low energy. You have a selfish duty to get fit. Not to look good on Instagram, that is vanity. You need to get fit so you can be useful. When you are physically strong, you are harder to kill. When you are metabolically healthy, your brain works faster. When you prioritize sleep, your emotional regulation improves. This means being rude. It means leaving the party early because you need to sleep. It means declining the cake because sugar crashes your energy. It means prioritizing your gym session over a meeting. If you are sick, you are a slave to your body. Your entire world shrinks down to the size of your pain. You cannot think about philosophy or business or love or art when you are in chronic pain. By selfishly prioritizing your health, you ensure that you remain a capable agent in the world for as long as possible. The fourth pillar is your social circle. This is perhaps the hardest one for people to accept. Zoologists tell us that you can predict the behavior of a chimp by looking at the 5 chimps it hangs out with the most. Humans are no different. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You absorb their habits, their worldviews, their energy levels, and their ambitions by osmosis. If your friends are cynical, you will become cynical. If your friends are unhealthy, you will become unhealthy. If your friends play status games constantly, comparing cars, jobs, and houses, you will inevitably start playing status games. You must be ruthless with your social circle. This sounds cold, it sounds unfeeling, but it is necessary survival. If you have a friend who is constantly dragging you down, who complains but never tries to fix their problems, who is jealous of your success, or who drains your energy every time you speak to them, you have to let them go. You are not their therapist. You are not their savior. You are not their rehabilitation center. By keeping them close, you are not saving them, you are drowning with them. You are validating their victimhood. Seek out people who are high agency. These are people who believe they are the masters of their own fate. They don't blame the economy or the government or their parents. They take ownership. Seek out people who are happy, not manic, loud happy, but people who have internal peace, people who are not fighting wars with themselves. Seek out people who are smart, people who challenge your thinking, who introduce you to new ideas, who force you to level up. When you surround yourself with high quality people, you naturally improve. You don't have to use willpower. You just adapt to the new baseline. It is the ultimate hack. Be selfish in your selection of peers. Curate your life like a museum. Only the best pieces get in. The fifth pillar is the most internal, happiness. We treat happiness like the weather. We wake up and say, I hope I'm happy today, as if it is something that happens to us. Or we treat it like a conditional reward. I'll be happy when I get the promotion. I'll be happy when I get married. I'll be happy when I make $1 million. This is the biggest trap of all. This is the if-then fallacy of happiness. Happiness is not an external event. It is a default state. It is what is there when you remove the sense of something missing from your life. Happiness is a skill you develop, and it is a selfish skill. You have to decide that your peace of mind is more important than your need to be right. You have to decide that your internal state is more important than external events. Look at how you consume information. Why do you watch the news? Why do you scroll through social media for hours, reading arguments between strangers? It is not because you are trying to be informed. It is because you are addicted to the cortisol. You're addicted to the feeling of righteous indignation. But what is the cost? The cost is your peace. You are renting out your brain to people who hate you. You are letting algorithms, which are designed to make you angry, dictate your mood. To be holistically selfish, you must guard the gates of your mind. Turn off the news, unfollow the outrage peddlers, stop arguing with people on the internet. Your mind is a temple. Do not let people walk through it with their dirty shoes. This also means giving up on the idea of changing others. The desire to change other people is a form of aggression. It is you saying, I know better than you how you should live. It creates conflict. It destroys your peace. When you accept people as they are, or you simply choose not to be around them, you reclaim your energy. When you protect your peace, you become a calm person. And in a chaotic world, a calm person is a superpower. People will naturally gravitate toward you because you are stable. You become the eye of the storm. By selfishly protecting your happiness, you become a source of stability for your family, your company, and your community. Let's look at the paradox of the long term versus the short term. We have established that there are two types of selfishness. Type 1 is petty selfishness. This is the zero-sum game. This is lying, cheating, stealing, and taking advantage of others. This is stupid selfishness. It feels good for a minute, but it destroys the most valuable asset you have, your reputation. Type 2 is holistic selfishness. This is the positive sum game. This is eating healthy so you don't die young. This is building a business so you don't depend on a boss. This is meditating so you don't scream at your kids. This is reading books so you aren't ignorant. Petty selfishness creates enemies. Holistic selfishness creates value. If you cheat someone in a business deal, you made a quick buck, but you lost your reputation. In the long run, reputation is worth infinitely more than cash. The selfish thing to do, the truly, deeply selfish thing, is to be honest. Why? Because being honest is efficient. You don't have to remember your lies. You don't have to look over your shoulder. You attract other honest people. You can do deals on a handshake. Honesty compounds. Ethics compound. Reliability compounds. The smartest people in the world are not good because they are afraid of going to hell or because they are following a rule book. They are good because they know that being ethical is the highest form of selfishness. It yields the best long-term returns. Play long-term games with long-term people. All returns in life, whether in wealth, relationships, or knowledge, come from compound interest. You want to be doing things that pay off in 10 years, not 10 minutes. So how do you apply this? What is the roadmap? First, you have to disappear. You have to be willing to be misunderstood. You have to withdraw from the noise. You have to stop going to the parties you hate. You have to stop spending money. You don't have to impress people you don't like. You have to pull back your energy from the world and direct it inward. You focus on the basics. You fix your diet. You fix your sleep. You start walking. You start reading. You start building a skill that the market values. You start saving your money and buying assets. This is the lonely phase. People will ask if you are okay. They will say you have changed. They might even leave you. Let them. You are shedding your old skin. Then you grow. You start to see the results. Your bank account grows. Your body feels lighter. Your mind feels clearer. You are no longer reacting to the world. You are acting upon it. You are becoming self-sufficient. You are building a fortress of solitude and strength. And then, finally, the paradox completes itself. You return, but you do not return as a beggar. You do not return as a victim. You return as a king or a queen. You return with a full cup. You return with a surplus of energy, a surplus of money, and a surplus of wisdom. Now, you can help others, but you help them differently. You help them not because you need their validation. You help them not because you need them to like you so you can feel good about yourself. You help them simply because it is an overflow of your own abundance. It is nature. The sun does not shine because it needs to be thanked. It shines because it is a sun. It has so much energy, it cannot help but give it away. That is the goal. To become like the sun, to be so structurally sound, so resource rich, and so internally peaceful that your very existence benefits those around you without you even trying. The people who try to save the world before they have saved themselves usually break themselves. They become bitter, they become burnt out, they become cynical, and eventually they become the very people who need saving. The people who focus on saving themselves, building capacity, wealth, and wisdom eventually end up saving the world. So here is your permission slip. Be selfish. Be ruthlessly, unapologetically, holistically selfish. Audit your calendar, cancel the meetings that don't matter, audit your diet, stop poisoning yourself, audit your friends, cut the anchors, audit your mind, stop consuming garbage. Build your leverage, build your wealth, build your peace. Secure your mask first. Breathe deep. Fill your lungs. Then, and only then, turn to your neighbor and help them with theirs. Because you cannot pour from an empty cup, and the world is desperate for you to be full.